Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, aka Shoot Your Shot. And maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy Lifetime. Or the song of the day is by Youngster featuring DJ Maporisa, Umtagati Kush, and Kabza the Small. So yeah, guys, today we're trying out something new, Evan. So we decided to call this segment Pod on the Walk. So Pod on the Walk, basically it's having a podcast that you do on the morning walk, so basically now it's 6:50 and we are having that walk, and we call this segment Pod on the Walk. So we'll be having this segment each and every morning. I'm very nervous about this. I've never done this before because I've always done podcasting everything prepared while so this is just the curveball I wasn't ready for. So I decided to just wake up. I thought of the idea yesterday. I was like, it would be really interesting to have this or try this out in the morning. But now I'm outside and I realize things are not as fun because now there's wind you need to consider. So there's a lot of editing that will go behind this video. So yeah, man, do let me know what you think. I'm your host, the most, Lesego M, aka Shoot Your Shot. And maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. What do you think? I don't know. Like now the platform is still new, the pod is still new. I don't know what maybe we can talk about on this podcast, like on this early segment of this morning. Like we do have it. I can either prepare content then at night and have it in the morning, because I had an idea that maybe we might even, cover some of the latest news in Dondoni, because I saw the news from people like, Margot Robbie, and people were angry about the fact that she didn't get the Oscar, but the guy who was playing I don't know that guy, Ryan Gosling, he got an Oscar for the supporting role, and the lead actor for the movie Barbie didn't get that. So people were very mad about that, So some of those things I'm like, is this content really worthy of the morning walk gossip? I think, morning walks should be about, thinking about the day ahead, like that fresh conversations, like that. Like, what are we doing today? Like, I'm going hard, or like, I think those are the conversation in this point where I'm like, yeah, I need to have those conversations more in the morning, where I'm like, yeah, I'm pushing for that, I'm pushing for this, I'm pushing for A, I'm pushing for C, so this is what we want to do in the morning. And I think a part of me also, I wanted us to release like 3 different segments. And I think the idea behind this is to release 15-minute episodes each and every day. Like, this is for until the 100th episode, which I think, in my opinion, will be released in about a week's time. Next week, around this time, we'll hit 100 episodes. And again, I'd like to apologize. Yesterday, in a long time, one of those long time, I haven't missed releasing an episode. And yesterday, I missed out on a day of releasing an episode. I know there's always excuses behind everything, but in today, I'm like, I'm gonna give it to you. And I think a part of that excuse was like, I already have, a segment that I'm going to call Morning Pod, or Pod in the Morning. I think Pod in the Morning rhymes smoother than, Morning Pod. Pod in the Morning. I think when I heard that, I was like, this makes more sense to me, So yeah, man, do let me know what you think about this. Is the air very bad? Because I know, like, when you start to edit some of the sounds out, you tend to like not hear, or like, this was, the word was cut out, like there's a lot of things that go missing when you do these things. I wonder when you edit. So like, this is a trial out, like it's a tryout, and it's a tryout. if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We revert to. And of course, like for people who are still wondering, like, listen, are we still gonna have like our day-to-day podcast, like, where you break everything, hip-hop, you break culture, you break, entertainment, news down. You bring us like, some of these things that we didn't, know about, or to our awareness, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's gonna still happen. And in my opinion, I think breaking it down, it makes it even easier for me, because now if I do that, I also have time to, do other things, because now I feel like there's a lot of work that has to be done, like, business and a lot of the things that are not associated with the podcast. There's a lot of that going on in my life, you know what I mean? So, but the biggest problem is now, like, I feel like I want to balance it all and like figure out the way, and I think it's just the best way at this moment, in my opinion, is to release this 15-minute segment, because now it's hard to like release a 30-minute. It's not really hard. I just need to commit and say, I'll release a 30, a 20, a 35, a 40. I think I just need to give myself that time to say, I'll release these episodes, and but I felt like I'm still winning if I release those 15 minutes, which is like 45 minutes, and I am still winning basically that one. So do let me know what you think, guys. That one. So now I think it's also a challenge, because it is a challenge because you tend to run out of things to talk about when you are in the morning walk, because now I think when you want to talk about something in the morning, it has to be affirmation, or what? So it tends to be more difficult when it's no longer affirmation, it's only content, business content. It's business in dun this, that, like, I feel like that's where it's taking me, because I'm still figuring it out, you know what I mean? Still figuring it out. And I just woke up like 20-30 minutes ago, and I'm like, gotta do this thing. And now here I am doing this thing, releasing this episode, and I'm stuck, because I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry for the wait. I'm like, F this, like, I didn't prepare enough for this moment. I didn't think it was crucial or necessary for me to be in the moment and talk to myself. And because literally podcasting is like talking to yourself and people, because now I can be like, I'm able to talk to my phone, I'm using my phone to do the podcast. And a lot of people don't know, but see, this is actually a viable route. If you want to release a podcast, you can also like do that on your own, on your phone. So, but like a lot of people don't know that. So I started doing this, and people are just assuming that it's just on a call. So it's easier even for me to like do that, So it's easier for me to do that. Do let me know what you think about everything new pod in the morning with Lesego M, Daddy Pod, aka, we don't know, maybe I'm reinvesting a radio gig, a morning radio gig, pod in the morning with Lesego M, Daddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Kyle. So do let me know, guys, I'm very interested what you think about this idea. And yeah, I don't know, maybe we need to talk about the Twitter hour, have a Twitter hour where we like, what's happening with Simon, or the drama, and maybe we need to have that, like, but I'm still like trying to get a structure of how we are going to represent everything as far as the podcast is concerned. I'm still trying to figure that out, and the moment I figure that out, I think that's the moment where I'll have external force, and I'm like, okay, we'll have A, B, and C, play A, B, and C, or like we'll have this. You remember when I started the podcast, I never really had a clue, an idea as to what I want to build or how you do the show cards, A, B, and C. I didn't know a bunch of those things. I didn't, But along the way, you start to learn, you start to build the muscle, and it becomes easier and easier to tend to find topics that gravitate towards you or topics that grab you, So I think even with like pod in the morning, I intend to get to a place where doing that is easier for me than anything. You understand? I intend to get there. So that's my aim with like pod in the morning, to be in a place where I'm able to just wake up and take the earphones and just rock a morning run, So that's the situation as it is, you know what I mean? So I want to do that for everybody that's a fan of the podcast, everybody that wants to hear me speak, everybody that wants to see 100 episodes. Maybe this is just another strategy to get to 100 episodes. I don't know. You let me know. So, yeah, man. I'm out of words to say. I'm out of content. Never got to this place in my life, and I'm so embarrassed. So yeah, man, shout out to the supporters of the podcast. Like, what do we need to do as far as bringing in people, as far as like, how do we celebrate the 100 episodes, Like, I had a simpler thing in mind. I don't know if I should let people in on what that is. So basically what that is was just bring people in on the story, just have a video, record yourself, speak about the beginning of the podcast, have their video. You don't have to do a lot of things, go party with, waste money. You don't need to do all of those things, You can just have a few friends over, or even alone, just have a drink, even if it's water. But take it in, Uguti, it's 100 episodes. And maybe in a 500 episode, 200 episode, I'll get a moment and I'm like, oh, that is a moment that a lot of people never saw. You know what I mean? So I think that's my idea, or my opinion in this. But I think I've got to a place where I know, Guti, the podcast is no longer about me. It's about us, what we think collectively. How do we make this a successful show? What do we talk about? What do I not talk about? What are some of the sensitive things that, I don't talk about in the show, and maybe we can touch on that. I think that's the whole process of building that, I'm in. Uguti, let's build. Yes, we are building, and at the same time I'm like, as much as we are building, we need to also consider, because not everything that you guys are saying about the podcast is going to happen. I think I have to also be mindful of that, because as much as that will happen, but a lot of those will be filtered down according to the vision, the end goal, the mission and vision of the podcast, So we won't take everything in. So we'll take those that make sense, or like the ones that we feel like that are trendsetters, or even the bar, or we'll have those. So yeah, do let me know in the comment section. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy. Like Cairo, we're about to hit the 15 minutes of the podcast for the day. I'm so proud of myself for that, because I haven't done this before, never went out without planning content, and so we are hitting the 15 minutes, and I didn't even script the book for the day. But when we have the second segment of the day, or the last segment, I don't know if that's when we should announce the book of the day. But between the midday show and the evening show, maybe we might just have those, or we just do the announcement throughout the 3 shows. I don't know, do let me know in the comment section, because I was supposed to prepare everything. Like mainly, I don't know if you heard when we started, I did say Mitandazo featuring Kabza the Small, Young Star, DJ Maporisa, that guy, I forgot his name, Kush. So Mtagati Kush, I get. So Imitandazo, that's a very beautiful song. I was supposed to also research the song of the day in that moment, the book of the day in that moment, but I didn't, because I felt like I wanted to be on point with everything in A, B, and C. I wanted to, but I felt at the same time I was like, it's overwhelming. I might end up not doing it. Let me just wake up and just do it. We'll plan everything ahead when we have the flow, when we have the juices, or So yeah, man, it's good to be up and running while other people are still preparing for their jobs. Now I'm doing one of the things that I love, which is podcasting, So yeah, guys, do let me know what you think about this pod in the morning idea that I have, and let's see how we work it out. Like, let's see if this can be something, can turn into something bigger than it is at the moment, So yeah, so I know like a lot of the kids went to school, huge demographic of them, they went back to school, so like the listenership might dip, because I think as much as I see Uguti, the majority of the people that listen to the podcast, it's youth. I can give you numbers, but it won't be as like high as it was before with like pod in the morning, because the segment is being released, or the show is being released at the time where they're going to school, so they'll only listen to that after school, So I think even with the numbers as well, it won't make sense to anyone who is a fan of the podcast to say, we don't hit these numbers anymore, or like what. So I don't think we will hit the same numbers. We will have a new audience for sure because of this segment. So yeah, I think a part of this audience, if I may, it was inspired by that guy, Troy. I don't know, forgot the guy on TikTok. His name is Troy. He always, takes off his glasses when he talks. I think he did something about like the walking podcast where he vents about a lot of things. So I don't like mind doing that. So a lot of the people who vent, or like he's like that person. He can talk on the phone, move around, So now I'm still not getting that. I'm still finding my groove in that, So yeah, I didn't realize it was so much harder than I thought. This is harder than I thought, but I'll get the flow. And when I get to that place where I can do everything, talk, have that show at the same time. I apologize for the cars that shit. Those cars passing. This pod in a walk, Leon. So yeah, do let me know, man. Do let me know. It doesn't look clean, it doesn't sound clean, but I'm just saying, just let me know what you think of Pod in the Walk. So the song of the day is Mitandazo featuring Kabza the Small, or Young Star, Kush, Umtagati Kush, DJ Maporisa as well. So like, do let me know what you think on the comment section. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M, Daddy Pod, aka Shoot Your Shot. Maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy, like Cairo. Have a lovely day. Cheers.